Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our 2026 State of the Community Address. Some of you all are already here and you know the deal. If you're not new here, you already know to go ahead and say hello in the comments and let us know where you are tuning in from. If this is your first time attending an ITSMF virtual event, then let us know that this is your first event as well and where you are tuning in from. We are streaming live directly through StreamYard to LinkedIn, Facebook, and our YouTube channel. So a special hello to those that are tuning in live from those channels. I see those comments already coming in from Dallas. Good morning. Yes, Kathy. Someone sent Kathy a birthday message. Kathy celebrated her birthday on yesterday. So go ahead and make sure you tell Kathy happy birthday. I see greetings from Parkland, Florida, and Connecticut, and Chicago, Estero, Florida, Atlanta, St. Louis, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Wow, Daytona Beach. We have some new cities popping up this year. Thank you to everyone tuning in from California, DC, Dallas, Fort Worth, Illinois, Milwaukee, St. Vincent. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Keep dropping those cities in the chat. We are excited that you guys are joining us here today. We want to let a couple of people come on in before we get started. I see the cities are still coming in. Hello, hello, everyone. From Atlanta again, Kansas City, DC, New York. Hello, hello. All right, so we can go ahead and get started. Thank you again to everyone that are joining us here today. My name is Sherelle Bailey, and I have the absolute honor of serving as the Senior Director of Events and Marketing for ITSMF. As many of you all know, ITSMF exists to prepare professionals for executive roles in technology so they can drive organizational innovation and growth. And we do this by developing and nurturing these dynamic leaders through enrichment of the mind, body, and soul. It's truly a privilege to welcome you all to our 2026 and our third annual State of the Community Address. This event was created to give all of our constituents, that's our members, our academy members and alumni, our partners and supporters, the opportunity to hear directly from our leadership at the very start of the year about where we are and where we're going as an organization. We wanted to create a space outside of our symposiums where you can see and hear firsthand the state of our community, who we are, where we're going, and how we continue to grow together. And this year's State of the Community is especially meaningful because ITSMF is celebrating 30 years. That's 30 years of magnifying excellence. Now, what does it mean to turn 30? Usually, turning 30 brings both feelings of celebration and introspection. I remember being 29 and looking around at my peers. I felt like I was behind. I was questioning whether I had accomplished what I was supposed to and worrying that 30 would arrive with more regret than pride. But then at 30, I found ITSMF. This is the organization that would catapult my career and help shape the leader you see before you today. And because of that, I am forever grateful for ITSMF. So if ITSMF has helped you grow as a leader, if it's transformed you as a person, if you've built invaluable, even life-changing connections, or maybe you're just simply grateful that this organization exists, take a moment and let ITSM know what you're grateful for in the comments. So we'll come back to some of those comments. We'll show them on screen. And so as you write your gratitude to ITSMF, let me share a little bit about today's conversation. We have the pleasure of hearing from ITSMF's president and CEO, Johanna Jones. And if you've never had the opportunity to hear Johanna speak, then you are truly in for a treat. Her stories have a way of leaving you inspired, like you can take on the world by the time you're finished. So today, Johanna will also share insights on navigating organizational change, envisioning the next era of ITSMF, and what our call to action is to support this organization. Following Johanna, we'll hear from our board chair, Dane Bamburry, who will speak about what it means to be active members and stewards of ITSMF. how we can support the executive team, and how we collectively reimagine the next 30 years of this organization. But before we bring Johanna to the virtual stage, let's take a look at some of the comments about what ITSMF means to you. I see Elaine. Elaine is our ambassador for ITSMF. She is grateful for her ITSMF family. Thank you, Elaine. Sean is grateful for the legacy that it fosters. Thank you, Sean. Ricardo, ITSMF has really helped with bringing our community together, a safe space to navigate our executive spaces that we encounter. So thank you all for sharing what ITSMF means to you. It's a powerful reminder of why this community matters. So as we embark on today's conversation, I encourage you all to listen with open hearts, engage with curiosity in the chat, and take pride in the incredible work we're all accomplishing together and what lies ahead. Of course, we'll have time for Q&A at the end, so feel free to drop your questions in the chat during the live Q&A segment. But without further ado, please welcome our president and CEO, Johanna Jones.
Thank you, Sherelle. Thank you so much. And what an amazing welcome. Good morning, family. I'm here in chilly St. Louis, but it is an absolute pleasure to have a few moments to speak a few words with you today. 30 years ago, a vision was etched in the bedrock of technology that regardless of race, regardless of gender, excellence in technology shouldn't just have a seat at the table. We should lead the table. And this amazing forum was created. Today, as we embark on a year of celebrating our 30th anniversary at ITSMF, we are not just looking back on 3 decades of history, but we are looking at this living, breathing ecosystem that's more than a network. It is a powerful forum. And in 2025, we celebrated and convened with nearly 500 active members. We welcomed 100 new members into the ITSMF family. And we connected with a brotherhood and a sisterhood that also includes nearly 750 alumni. All of us, not just redefining what is possible in tech, but we are business leaders. We are family members, and we are driving business growth in new ways. I was just reading an article that said that today, nearly 40% of CXOs are reporting directly to the corporate CEO. And so what does that mean for the new and changing responsibilities of an ITSMF leader? We are more than prepared for that change. I love to read, and recently I stumbled on this word that I had never thought about before. The word invulnerable. Invulnerable. I was raised by 2 people that spent a lifetime preparing me for all the things that could go wrong in life. But I never thought about the word invulnerable, to be impossible to hurt or to harm. And so ever since coming across this word, I've been intrigued and turning over in my head, have I ever felt invulnerable? In a current scenario where more of us feel more vulnerable than ever in life, what does invulnerability feel like? And guess what? My favorite quote is, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And so just as I'm pondering this word invulnerable, I spent some time in December in Mississippi, in Natchez, Mississippi, where my family is from. And my uncle and my aunt, I'm with my husband and my brother, we go out to the Walker Estate. And the Walker Estate is a piece of property that's been in my family nearly 150 years. My family worked on this land for free. My family became sharecroppers on this land, and they eventually pulled their money together and bought it, and it's been in our family ever since. I hadn't been on the Walker Estate in a long time, but my uncle and my aunt took my husband and my brother and I out onto the property. And guess what I felt walking through this forest in Mississippi in the woods with endless trees, endless wildlife, good and bad, endless, hills and greenery and all types of amazing nature. I felt this sense of peace and this sense of safety and this sense of strength that I can't describe when I felt that way. I felt invulnerable. I knew that my uncle was prepared for any scenario. He had a backpack and a shotgun across his arm. My brother had a backpack. I knew that regardless of all the wildlife, we were prepared. And as my uncle led us through the forest, he knew every single tree, every single plant, every single brick. This was a part of a house that belonged to your great, 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 great grandfather. This piece of metal belonged to a car that was owned by your great, 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 great grandmother. He knew every single inch of the land, and he described the stories in great detail. And I literally followed in his footsteps because I was afraid of the snakes. And my husband, Darren, kept asking, are we going to see, what kind of animals are we going to see? And as he described each one, instead of being scared, I felt amazingly peaceful. I felt invulnerable. In 2025, our theme was building connections. And we launched a career transitions resource that 77% of you said was extraordinarily helpful. And through this resource, we help members in transition not just learn about new opportunities and how to prepare for them, but they found a powerful community. And our success in a year of record headwinds and uncertainty, we built a story of resilience. We built a story of results that is far beyond what could have happened, that we navigated successfully. Our jobs board became this massive engine for opportunity. We posted 6,800 jobs on our jobs board in 2025, and we had nearly 29,000 job seekers engage on our jobs board, looking for their next big move. That's what impact looks like. And guess what? We didn't stop there. In spite of headwinds, uncertainty, navigating new governmental policies and procedures, we graduated 155 brilliant leaders through our Global Institute for Professional Development, and we currently have 114 amazing and profound leaders preparing to graduate in June of 2026. And guess what? In our academy, we've seen that there are satisfaction scores of 4.7 out of 5. So we're not only graduating talented leaders, but we're making a difference in their learning and development. And their learning and development scores improved from 3.3 when they began the academy to 4.5 when they graduated. We launched a new AI certification, and we saw increasing numbers in participants from our board-bound academy obtaining their National Association of Corporate Directors certification. You asked for more connection as members, and guess what? We have this beautiful connection opportunity at S2 at Chateau Alon that was more different than we've done in anything post COVID. We also held our inaugural charity golf tournament, and we had a record breaking number of multi city meetups and networking events. We saw 2,100 people attend our events in 2025, and we had over 13 events. And our satisfaction scores were 4.6 on a 5.0 scale. So we listened to you, and guess what? We forged connections, we built connections more than ever. And not just that, collectively, we had this powerful impact in terms of outreach. We awarded 30,000 in scholarships and travel expenses to our symposium to 5 college students majoring in tech. We invested over $18,000 in tech entrepreneurs who graduated from our Ignite Academy. And the growth didn't just stop there. We grew to 10,500 LinkedIn followers and saw over 4,000 monthly users on the ITSMF website. We forged connections like never before. We also, in this climate, most of you know, and you're experiencing it in your day-to-day workday, that we have to navigate change, we have to pivot, we have to be agile. And so as an organization, we've experienced that change firsthand this year. Currently, 70% of our funding and our budgeted revenue comes from corporate partnerships. And this year, while 50% of our partners increased their financial commitment to ITSMF, we did experience an overall decline of 18% in partner spending because of this current climate. And that resulted in a revenue dip just below 10%. But we met that challenge head on. We tightened our belts, we decreased our spending, and we began this approach of diversifying our revenue through donations, seeking more donations, and through additional sponsorships, especially through our events. We are focusing relentlessly on organizational capacity and on excellence, and making sure that we are good stewards of our mission, which is now more important than ever, and that we are good stewards of the resources that our donors and corporate partners deploy to us. We're good stewards of our membership dues, and we are good stewards of your time, your talent, and your treasure. And we are doing everything possible to make sure that we stay on target with our mission and we deliver the ROI and the impact that we need to be around another 30 years. And so that means in 2026, our new theme for this year is 30 years of excellence. And we know that this organization is just that. And so looking ahead, we're planning for an engagement evolution. And so this means that we're shifting from just building connections to integrating even stronger connections with our members, with all of our stakeholders, our strategic alliance partners, our donors, and our corporate partners. And we want to make sure that we're delivering on this mission of increasing representation in the C-suite, and we're delivering on our strategy of building and growing an entrepreneurial ecosystem. And so how we're going to do that means that we'll have elevated member experiences, especially for our executive members. We've been growing our academies, and they're delivering powerful results. But it's important that we make sure that we're continuing to support and develop our executive members. And guess what? Executive membership has doubled over the past 5 years, And we've seen continued growth in spite of these headwinds of leaders growing into increasing C-level positions and growing their own businesses. So it's important that we continue to support and develop those that are already in C-level positions. So we'll have more CXO programming and experiences. In addition to that, we are launching precision academies, which means that we are diving in to being more committed to ensuring that our academies have the most high potential, brilliant tech leaders on the planet. So it means that we'll be stricter in ensuring that we have the best of the best talent who are looking for growth and opportunity and looking to be stewards and looking to engage as members long term in our academies. Our event cadence will be different. In 2026, S1 will be in June, more than likely in Atlanta, and we'll be launching specific dates soon. But S1 will be combined with graduation. Our graduations over the past 5 years have grown to be nearly the same size as a symposium. And if you haven't seen the capstone projects, if you haven't seen the hooding ceremonies, if you haven't seen the speeches, then you have been missing one of the most profound ITSMF experiences of the year. And so we're not only saving money by combining graduation with S1, but we're giving you a new experience to explore and see firsthand the magic of what happens when we come together to develop and support the most brilliant leaders in tech. S2 will also have a different cadence. It'll be combined with the gala in September in Atlanta, and we'll be providing more details about that shortly. So get your calendars ready. We'll also continue to have more member meetups in addition to continuing our corporate networking events virtually and in person, which were extraordinary last year. But not only are we continuing our programming and evaluating our impact and our strength, and we'll be improving our storytelling, but I also want to make sure that I express our profound gratitude for you who've helped us arrive at this space, that in spite of headwinds, all types of challenges that we're experiencing in the business ecosystem, our government, and our jobs day to day, we continue to have an impact. And that's because of you, our members. You mentored, you volunteered, you joined committees, you chaired committees, you donated, you gave up your time in spite of it all. To you, our fellows and our founders, our founders spent extraordinary time with me advising, helping to navigate all of these brand new pitfalls and challenges that we're experiencing and giving me their wisdom, giving their support, and of course, giving me their expectations, which continue to be high in this organization. I want to thank our strategic alliance partners. You, in addition, many of our partners, the BDPAs, the NPowers, the High Tech, SIM Women, you gave us your time, your talent, and your treasure this year, and we would not be here without your support. I want to thank Gartner for continuing to be a partner with us. In spite of all these challenges, we still had our own independent workshop within the Gartner Symposium, and the Institute for the Future has given us over $75,000 worth of in-kind as a result of their partnership with us. I want to thank our board of directors, and I want to thank our most amazing ITSMF management team. You continue to show your brilliance, you continue to show your loyalty, and you continue to show your support. and it's been unprecedented and more than I can ever imagine or expect, and you helped us navigate. And so, members, 2025 was great. We couldn't be here without you. We couldn't be here without you, corporate partners. But guess what? In 2026, we'll continue to need you. I need you to be present and to show up at our events, be they in person, be they virtual. I need you to show up and be engaged and be active. I need you to be a partner. I need you to sponsor an event, sponsor membership, sponsor participation in our academies. I need you to donate. I need you to be a voice. I need you to be an advocate in your institution, with your relationships, in your board seats. And I need you to donate. I need you to donate. I need you to donate. We are 30 years strong, and we will be another 30 years stronger. But that's only if we continue to lean in. My uncle, on that recent trip to Mississippi, made me memorize the pathway and the route onto the Walker Estate and the pathway and the route off of the Walker Estate. Because you see, the Walker Estate, there's a part where the road ends. It's no longer a paved road, and you go onto what ends up being a gravel road. And there are no street signs, there's no signs. And to enter it, you have to be able to read landmarks that are constantly changing. And so my uncle in the car ride made me repeat over and over and over again how to get onto the estate and how to read the landmarks. And guess what? That signaled to me that it's now my time to be a steward of our family's land, to be a person that picks up the mantle and is not just taking care of the property, but is prepared to teach my children and one day my grandchildren about their history and about this land and what it means, and be a person who knows every tree, who knows every rock, and is helping to prepare the future of the property. And while we were spending time on there, we started brainstorming about what's next for this property. And for you, your next step might be a board seat. Your next step might be growth in the new business that you've launched, a new product or service. Your next step might be, you may be in transition right now and you're looking for a role. You might be exploring new ways to have even greater impact. And what does that mean for you? You might be interested in strengthening your engagements and your connections with people, storytelling, writing a book. Your powerful next step. But guess what? Just like my uncle, who I literally watched his footsteps and tried to step everywhere he stepped, your next step is not going to be alone, because we have 30 years of brilliant leaders who did not follow the textbook route, who know the pathway that goes off script, and they've navigated it successfully all the way to being on some of the biggest boards of the world, all the way to selling 3 and 4 companies to global organizations. And so they are prepared. Every member, every founder, every fellow, every executive member is prepared to grab your hand when the road becomes narrow, when the road becomes gravel and no longer paved, and to make sure that you too are invulnerable. ITSMF, I'm looking for an amazing 2026, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you. Thank you so much for everything that you've done, not just in 2025, but for the last 30 years to make this organization what it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that, I introduce the amazing, the incomparable Dane Bamburry, who's not only the Senior Director of Enterprise Architecture at Cox, but he is one of the most humble, one of the most giving teachers and mentors that we've had in ITSMF. Welcome, Dane.
Thank you, Johanna. Greetings, everyone. I bring you greetings and virtual hugs from the board. My main focus of conversation this afternoon is on one thing: membership. When I became board chair, the next meeting we had, we talked about 2026 being the year of the member. And every time I stand in front of you, I will always remind you of that. 30 years ago, this organization was built on core membership, members focusing and pouring into each other. If you look at the recent newsletter that came out, it stated that we currently have over 490 members, with 100 new members added last year. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about the impact that we're having on these members. And this organization's impact is not just about the board, it's not just about the management team, it's not just about the leaders of the academies, but it's really about members pouring into members. And in 2026, if it's going to be the year of the member, I need every member to lean in like they've never done before. There will be different opportunities for you to contribute. Time, treasure, talent, 365 all year, every day. We are at a pivotal time where we're about to figure out and build what the next 30 years is going to be. This is a transformational time. We get to reimagine what ITSMF will be. And while 30 years has brought us to this point, in order for us to sustain and grow, we need fresh ideas. We need new ideas. And I'm leaning in on the membership to contribute. Because 30 years from now, you can look back and say, I was a part of that. I was able to contribute, lean in, and make a difference, not just for myself, but for my fellow members, my fellow brothers and sisters in this organization. We've already started having small conversations about how we can empower entrepreneurs, how we can feature them more within our organization. More peer-to-peer mentoring opportunities are coming, more one-on-one conversations, more active engagement from a membership status. These are things that we're thinking about and we're leaning on for you guys. It's not just about growing the numbers, but it's growing quality numbers that provide value to each other and to those who are not aware of ITSMF, those who have never heard the letters ITSMF. It's not just bringing someone to this organization, but it's showing them that we care about their mind, body, and soul. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time discussing how we're going to do this, because we want to save some time for some questions. But I do leave this with you. In order to do this, Johanna and her team is a small but mighty team. The board is a small but mighty board. But what we need is for you guys to lean in and to really step up and engage. Shortly after this event is over, there will be a list of committees that you can join. I'm urging you, this is my ask, this is my request. If 2026 is going to be a year of the member, it starts today. It starts with each one of you becoming active and engaged. And there's some way you can help. Don't ever think that your contributions are ever too small or not impactful. I can sit down and tell you stories of a small impact and the huge difference that it's made for many people in this organization. And we aim to continue to do that further. So without further ado, I just want to thank you for that time. Looking forward to serving you as best as I can over the next couple of years. And I look forward to hearing your ideas, and I look forward to leaning in elbow by elbow with each one of you. So thank you for this time. And with that, I'll bring Johanna back on.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support, Dane. Truly appreciate it. And I also look forward to the year of the member. I am constantly inspired by our members, and every time we show a highlight on our LinkedIn or a highlight in our executive member meetup, or I get notes from our academy directors about this growth opportunity that one of our academy participants has just shared with them. I still get goosebumps. I still get emotional because this is just this amazing community of brilliance. So, and you are a great representative of that. But if
Thank
you
you.
don't mind, I got a few questions for you.
Fire away.
All right. So, you are this, uber talented tech executive and have this long, successful trajectory at Cox. But if you could wave a magic wand and be any career, and talent was not was no problem at all. You could have all the talent to do anything you want, all the money to do anything that you want. What unique or different career would you engage in?
I would say it'd have to be between two. It would either be a chef or it'd be a marketing leader. I've always been fascinated by the psychology of humans and marketing. So even though I don't have a formal degree in marketing, I probably studied as much about marketing in my free time
Mm,
as I've done in my formal degree. And from a chef's perspective, it's really about bringing different things together and creating something amazing. And I liken it to something like this organization. We're a formula. We're various ingredients bringing together to create something powerful.
absolutely. I share that interest in being a chef with you. I too would probably be doing something creative, being a chef, or if I could be Alicia Keys and be a singer songwriter and have immense talent, I would. But that makes sense that you have such a passion for marketing because you're such a great connector and really insightful at understanding what people's needs or wants are and connecting them to just the right resource. So very helpful, very helpful. So you've been a longtime member, a product of ITSMF programs, but thinking back, can you describe one of your favorite ITSMF moments?
That's I would say that's an easy one.
Hmm.
I could remember it like it was yesterday. They say in life you never get a chance to make a you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And one of my first impressions of this organization was meeting with my mentor while I was in the management academy. And he embraced me not as a mentee, but a family member. He brought me into his circle, and I was amazed by these senior executives at the time that I was sitting around, and I did not feel out of place. I felt like one of them. And we had just met probably 3 hours earlier.
Hmm.
And that right there told me that this is an organization that I'm going to be sticking with for a long time because of how he and his friends and colleagues made me feel. I didn't know what I was getting into, but I was excited because you don't, in most organizations, people don't make you feel that way. We talk about the 24 to 48-hour call when you remember that if you need something, you answer. And I've kept that with me because of how he treated me.
Hmm. Absolutely. What a powerful moment. And I know that so many of our members have experienced the exact same thing. That is the secret sauce, and that is the true, what that heartstone means. in ITSMF. That's amazing. I too have firsthand accounts of. I remember being at a symposium and someone I didn't know walked up to me after one of Cheryl Bridges' mental health segments, and they said that one of my family members has been experiencing some challenges, and I'm about to go and call them, and I feel like this segment is saving a life. That this organization is actually saving lives. And I can't tell you how many times that I've heard that. And so for a professional organization to really be impacting people's lives so profoundly that they feel like their lives are saved is just actually is amazing. Another experience that that just came out the blue is we were at the Intercontinental in Atlanta, and one of the ladies from housekeeping, I was standing outside of um, one of the general sessions, and one of the ladies from housekeeping said that you don't know what it feels like to see people who look like me doing things like this. You inspire me. This organization, seeing all of these people who look so important, and I don't understand half the things that you're talking about, but you all are amazing. You inspire us, and I am so proud to be helping to support you today. And actually had a similar experience in when we were leaving NASDAQ, and some of the operations team lined up at the door as we were leaving, and they shook our hands and they said, it's so amazing to see people who could be my family members in a place like this. And so I never forget that sometimes the people that we have impact on aren't in the room. It's amazing.
Cool. So, John, a question for you. Having known you for a little bit, you are a traveler. What's the top place on your bucket list that you haven't been?
So next is Scotland. My husband is a connoisseur of Scotch. Scotland is beautiful and green, and so we are planning a group trip with friends and family, and I'm looking forward to exploring Scotland.
Cool.
What about you?
I would say Australia has always been on my bucket list, but I have an interest of going to Australia in a unique situation. I'm a big tennis fan,
Oh,
and when I retire, I want to go to all four majors in the same year, starting out with Australia.
awesome. And I think there's some members who would join you on that. We have some tennis connoisseurs who'd love to do that with you. That's exciting. So in this year of change and of challenges, where do you see the board making the biggest difference in 2026? As we pivot, as we change, where do you see the board making the biggest difference?
Before I answer that, I want to say I'm extremely honored to be a part of this board. I've never been a part of a board that's leaned in as much, especially in turbulent times. We've asked and they've always responded. So just like to give a public shout out to my fellow board members. But specifically to answer your question of where do we see how we can add value, I think it's in the reimagining of the next 30 years. We have a lot of talented board members who have developed and built strategic initiatives, strategic programs, visionaries, and I think we can bring that to the table on top of what we typically do. But I think we can be a key component in the reimagining of the next 30 years of ITSMF.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so now I think in our final minutes, we'll take a few questions from our community. And Sherelle, if you can help us.
Absolutely. So, those of you all that are joining us, you can use the chat feature or the comment feature. If you have any questions for Dane and or Johanna, we'll show them here on screen and answer your questions live. So I think, Johanna, we want to give them a couple of minutes. There is a slight delay between StreamYard and them. If you guys have maybe one more question for each other while those questions come in.
All right, so Dane,
Question:
go ahead. You go ahead.
What being a resident of St. Louis,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say is the number one tourist attraction that will get people to come to St. Louis, especially given it's so cold right now?
It's definitely the arch, the gateway to the west. It never gets old. The the magnitude and the size of the arch is absolutely amazing. And the story of how it was built and how long it took to build is absolutely amazing. And even though I'm afraid of heights, I've been to the arch um, countless times, but the view from the arch is terrifying, but it's absolutely breathtaking. So I think it's one of those things that everybody living in the US should see is you got to experience the arch, go up in the arch and witness what it's like to see the view of St. Louis from the gateway to the west. So, and we are the home of the gooey butter cake, and we invented the ice cream cone in 1904. So you have some amazing. We are food city. So one of the things I thought was pretty fun is that when we had our S2 symposium here, that some of our members who I know are true food connoisseurs really enjoyed some great culinary delights in St. Louis and spoke highly of it. So besides the gooey butter cake, amazing ice cream, we have some 5-star restaurants, Michelin star restaurants.
Okay, so thank you for sharing that, Johanna. We do have a question here from Latasha. Dane, this is for you. She wants you to share a bit more on the reimage vision for the next 30 years.
Thank you for that question, Latasha. Really, what we want to take this year to focus on is how do we bring more value to our members so our members are retained. Over the past 30 years, we've seen long-term members come, and a lot of them are retiring and moving on to different things. So in order to sustain these new members coming in, what are the services that bring value to them? How do we stay connected in, I would say, a more disconnected world given what's happened since COVID? So it's really about leaning in, focused on our membership and our members and how we add value, what programs we need to develop, what engagement styles we need to create. So that's where we need to lean in on.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you, Dane. We have another good question came in from Cassandra. Johanna, I'll throw this one to you. She wants to know, how can partners and sponsors show up more intentionally as advocates, not just supporters of the ITSMF mission?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that I spent some deep time with the with the founders of ITSMF. And one of the things that they pointed out is that when we started this organization, members and corporate partners and sponsors was synonymous. We didn't have this big distinction of these are members and these are partners and these are sponsors. That our executive members were people that could advocate inside of their organization, could write checks, could recruit members, could sponsor programs, could host programs, could make decisions, could plan events, bring speakers onto the stage, and they were members. And so I think it's critical that we make sure that throughout every single corporate partnership, our sponsorship, the person that is our advocate inside of the organization, is a member. And while it's absolutely amazing and profound that people who aren't even members are digging in, leaning in, having long calls, planning, programming, and events all over the world, we want you to become a member of ITSMF. And we want you to make sure that the people that are attending our symposiums and going through our academies are becoming members, because there's another level of impact that you have on our ecosystem when you have these one-on-one relationships with people. And so continue to promote membership, but also tell the story. We have these amazing impact reports, and this year we'll be releasing even more powerful impact reports. And so those aren't just for your benefit, but share them. Share these reports within your organization so that they know that yes, we are a family, yes, we are a community, but we're one with results and with data to stand behind what we do. So please share our story, tell our story, and encourage membership. And that means you.
Absolutely. Speaking of membership, our next question is focused on that. I don't know if we'll have all of this data relatively available, but we talked earlier about the number of current members that we have. So Robert Peterkins asks, can you repeat the number of members and how many are new in the past year? So that's the part I don't know if we'll have access to right now. But just based on this, what can we do better to connect and get to know each other?
So
You want me to start
we
with the
have over,
numbers, Dane? And I'll start with the
yeah,
numbers and you go into the connection part. But
yeah.
we currently have 490 active members. 363 of those members are executive members. We had 100 new members in 2025. And so, yes, we need to make sure that we're not just recruiting members, but we are integrating and engaging the members that we already have. We also have nearly 750 alums. And so we need to reach back and reactivate our members. Now, some people are retired, some people are in various phases of life and, but we have great opportunity to engage our lapsed members and to help retain and strengthen our members. And I'll let Dane has a lot of momentum and energy around this. I'll toss it to you.
Thanks. So, Robert, that's one of the things that we've been talking about behind the scenes. And Elaine will be bringing forth a couple of different ideas and events for us to connect, not just in a group setting, but in a one-on-one setting. There's a coffee chat that will be launched this year where it will invoke, and actually this started out of COVID for different organizations, but we're going to leverage it. We will empower members, new members, to connect with older members. We'll empower older members to connect with older members. So there are a couple of specific items that Elaine will be rolling out from a membership perspective over the next couple of weeks to get people more connected. Also, one of the things that Elaine does during each membership meetup. At the end of the meeting, she will encourage you to reach out and connect with the new members. We need to do that. We need to make our members feel engaged, loved, and embrace them with open arms. So those are just some low-hanging fruits that you can take and execute without any management or any oversight.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Sorry about that. We have time for one more question. And you guys touched on this just a little bit as we talked about the member conversion rates as it pertains to our academy members. So this question, hopefully it all shows up on the screen. But Tamara Baptiste, question is, she's heard that it is the academies that are the only pathway into membership for an associate. Yet that conversion rate isn't great. But at the same time, we all know that we are the best kept secret and that we are needed by us in our 30s. Will we look into this from a membership perspective so we can meet people when they need us and not through a corporate sponsorship or through an academy?
Absolutely, absolutely. I would say that, our part of our mission is about preparing the future. And so regardless of, the age of our members and where they are in their career trajectory, we have opportunities for everyone to absolutely get involved, whether it means continuing to support our, joining our committees. We need fresh ideas. We need new ideas. We need divergent thinking. We need diverse thinking. And so we have so many committees, from membership to programming to 30th anniversary, IT committee, marketing development. We have a place for your talent, and join a committee. We absolutely welcome you. And connections that, one of the most powerful tools that we have is, somewhat informal, reaching out to members and schedule, whether it's scheduling time, having regular time, and, calling and texting and reaching out to members. You can be in your 30s to be mentor of the year next year. You don't have to be, a 30-year member to be mentor of the year. So we welcome your energy. We welcome your enthusiasm, and all voices are appreciated. So thank you for bringing that up, and we'll make sure that we are thinking about the complete pipeline of our members and engaging people at all stages of that.
All righty. Well, we are at the end of this year's State of the Community address. Dane and Johanna, thank you all again for taking the time out to speak to our constituents, keep them energized, let them know that 2026 is the year of the members. So thank you all again for joining us today. We have a couple of announcements before we wrap up today's conversation. We talked about today being the year of the members. So if you are not an ITSMF member or you're interested in joining ITSMF, you can scan this QR code here. If you are a current member and it's time to renew, go ahead and renew your ITSMF membership. Now is the perfect time to renew your membership so that you can take advantage of your member benefits. Do not wait until symposium. It's too late. Make sure you go ahead and renew your membership. Scan this QR code to learn more about membership. Also, if you enjoyed today's session, scan this QR code and let us know your thoughts. It is a very, very short survey, but this survey helps ITSMF to ensure that we are continuing to provide quality content for you. Your feedback helps us to create and design content that speaks to you. If it does not speak to you, we need that feedback as well. But as you all know, data is very important in today's world. And so letting us know your thoughts help us to continue to do better. So I'll leave this here up on the screen. Again, thank you, Johanna. Thank you, Dane. Thank you to all of our constituents for joining us today. Thank you for the amazing engagement in the comment section. I couldn't like all of the comments that I could, but amazing engagement from you all. Thank you all from tuning in from all over the United States, actually the nation. I saw someone tuning in from the Bahamas. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We really appreciate you spending time with us today. If you have any other questions, be sure to reach out to ITSMF. But we thank you again for joining us and have a great afternoon.